The Board of Education of District 219 believes that in order to make progress towards academic achievement goals, each individual child must be our focus. District 219 has embarked upon a rigorous and progressive plan to increase the academic achievement of every child and ensure all are college ready. This video will highlight the approach District 219 is taking. Federal and state initiatives have shifted the focus of accountability from single measures of achievement to student growth over time. This allows the district to assess the impact of school progress and teachers on student achievement. The accountability model required for federal initiatives like Race to the Top, RTI, and teacher evaluation is a growth model or value-added model. Growth models present a significant opportunity for districts to monitor individual student growth, assess program effectiveness, and refocus teacher and administrator evaluation systems on measures of student growth and learning outcomes. District 219's motivation for sharing this model is to illustrate that our public schools do work and the current NCLB accountability system is flawed. Unlike No Child Left Behind, which assesses whether students or a school achieves the minimum acceptable standard of performance, District 219's local growth model calculates progress over time. By measuring change in performance of individual students or groups of students in a given cohort, class, or school, District 219's local growth model credits educational interventions, teachers, and students for progress made. District 219's model provides actionable data regarding what programs and teachers are growing students beyond what is locally typical, and addresses the following questions. What is a typical year's growth? How much growth actually occurred? District 219's local growth models estimates what a set of students would have been likely to achieve under typical District 219 growth rates and compare that to what students actually achieved, in other words, the extent of student learning. This enables administrators to evaluate the effectiveness of schools, teachers, and programs. As funding becomes more scarce, boards of education need to be advised by their administrators as to which programs return the best investment. District 219's local growth model is employed in multiple contexts and for multiple purposes. Determining individual student growth targets as part of individualized learning plans, evaluating teachers, documenting return on investment for programs, setting cut scores for response to intervention, RTI, and placing students into courses. Designing and deploying a practical and psychometrically sound local growth model, LGM, requires a few steps. Step 1. Identify the measures that will serve as the accountability system. Any growth model is only as good as the measures used to document achievement. Valid assessments must be aligned to local curriculum to provide the kind of actionable data that accurately reflects student achievement within the district. Aligning coursework to federal, state, and local assessments is crucial. District 219 is revising every curriculum guide to ensure alignment to the college readiness standards and the Common Core. When determining appropriate measures, assessments need not nor cannot measure everything that is taught, so long as what is measured via assessments is aligned to the local curriculum. Although District 219 is moving to complement state and federal testing with Common Course final exams, we doubt they will be used as part of our LGM due to reliability and validity concerns. Step 2. Choose anchor years to serve as growth benchmarks. The local growth model requires that growth profiles be established locally. To do this, a school district must use its own historical achievement data from multiple data points to develop and calibrate the statistical models. When choosing anchor years, it is important to choose data points that use the same assessments and test administration windows that will be used in the future. Using achievement data in math, science, reading, and English, the model determines the growth profiles for a given cohort and reports out projections for each subject area individually. District 219 used 4 years of historical EPASS data to develop our local growth norms. Step 3. Develop statistical models that document and predict typical student growth. The statistical model recommended for local school districts is a regression approach that predicts a student's achievement from multiple past test records. This regression technique develops the best equation to predict expected future outcomes for an individual student or group of students with a particular prior achievement profile. The implementation of growth model is conceptually simple. Compare model projections under typical district growth to actual results at the district, school, program, teacher, or individual student level. The differential between actual achievement and predicted achievement is categorized to reflect below average growth, normal growth, and above average growth. This information enables schools and districts to discover whether each student's growth was similar to, greater than, or less than typical growth, which students are at risk of not making grade level proficiency, and which schools, teachers, programs, and/or interventions are positively affecting student growth. So let's put all this modeling to work in a real example. We'll use District 219 Mathematics as our case study. This case study will focus solely on employing an LGM in mathematics to illustrate the positive effects of local growth modeling on placing a student into the most rigorous curricula, providing information for the student and parent to meet their post-secondary goals, responding as early as possible with interventions, monitoring the student's progress, evaluating teacher, administrator, and program effectiveness, and informing budgetary decisions. In order to prepare students for the rigors of college-level mathematics, our previous course offerings and sequencing were in need of review and modification. This is illustrated in our EPASS scores, where 47% of our students enter our system below grade level and thus are not prepared for the rigor required of them on the PSAE, ACT test, or advanced placement courses, and are not ready for the rigors of college-level coursework once they graduate. 57% of our students did not meet standards on the PSAE. We needed to know the impact of courses and course sequencing on the ACT PSAE test in mathematics, and we wanted to place students into courses by demonstrated achievement, not teacher recommendation. We utilized the local growth model to do both. Our local growth model revealed the following. Students who entered District 219 with a Math Explore score of 13 were placed in courses that resulted in less than a 19% chance of meeting standards on PSAE mathematics due to lack of content exposure. Remember, this is by using our local growth as the predictor, our District 219 courses, programs, and teachers. Many students were placed in a mathematics track that was below their level of academic mastery because of teacher recommendation, which was often correlated with motivation and not mastery of content. This is unfortunate, as we now know that many of these students had demonstrated mastery of being able to get a C or better in the higher level math track. College level readiness for every student, like the federal blueprint for NCLB's authorization, was our goal. Was this the same goal of our parents and students? Last year, our counselors asked each incoming student and their parent one of the following questions. Do you want to go to college? Do you want your child to go to college? 99% reported that, yes, this is their goal, college. Our goal was validated. We needed to make sure we provided a rigorous academic experience for every student and an individual learning plan to act as a roadmap for their post-secondary goals. Changing our placement procedure in mathematics resulted in 7.53% fewer students in the basic track and 4.13 more in regular, the minimum college readiness track, 2.9% more students in honors, and 0.5% more students in AP. We have enhanced the ILP to include both a minimal college readiness level and an individual achievement target for every student. From our local growth model, we know what District 219's sequence of courses in math are the minimum standards to have our students exposed to the material tested on college entrance exams, not the states or nations. And we know, given an incoming student's prior achievement record and placement exam, the possibility that he will pass these high-stakes exams based on our district's, our local norms, not the state's norms or the nation's norms. Now, we intervene before a student even becomes a freshman if he's not on target to meet his post-secondary goals. We expanded the 4-year high school academic plan to include additional coursework in summer school and during the school year. This year, 50% of incoming freshmen who took the Summer Math Academy Tier 2 RTI intervention were moved into a higher track in mathematics. There was a disproportionate number of African American students who met the criteria for intervention. It's important to note student race in this example, since, like many school districts across the United States, District 219 has an unacceptable gap in the achievement levels of students based on race. In the first year of the required Summer Math Academy, 119 students participated in the course. Of these students, 55, or 46%, moved up to Algebra 1 for their freshman year. Additionally, 27 students qualified to move to a higher science course based on their improved mathematics scores. We monitored the students we moved to a higher mathematics course either through using new cut scores or our Summer Math Academy. Our LGM illuminated the fact that our basic level mathematics tracks would not provide the curriculum necessary for college readiness. We eliminated the 2 basic level tracks and replaced them with Algebra 1 and a second period of support and enrichment on RTI Tier 1 and 2 intervention. Algebra 1 teachers will form a small learning community, SLC, and will be available for additional one-on-one support during the enrichment period. Finally, the district initiated the process by developing an individualized learning plan, ILP, for each student that depicts typical local student growth based on local norms of college readiness levels on the Explore, Plan, IACT, and ACT. The growth percentiles report is shared with students, who are shown how students with scores like theirs typically grow in the 4 years of high school at District 219. In addition, the ILP shows the student and the parent the likelihood that the student will meet standards on the state exam in the junior year. Students are also shown the probability that they will meet standards for college readiness and be ready to take college-level courses once they graduate. They can even compare their predicted score to the college entrance requirements of their choosing. Research clearly shows that there is a variance in the effectiveness in teachers. This is not surprising, as we readily agree that there are differences in the effectiveness of other professionals, such as lawyers and doctors. While family income may be the best predictor of overall student achievement, research shows that good instruction is 10 to 20 times more powerful in predicting student growth or actual learning. And how do most school systems evaluate good instruction? Input data. Look at teacher evaluation documents. They ask how prepared and implemented was the lesson, what materials were used, was the classroom managed and organized, what education does the teacher have after the necessary requirements to be licensed. Notice the aforementioned quality indicators are all inputs, that is, they all focus on teaching. These may be necessary criteria, but not sufficient. Outcomes need to be part of the focus. Student learning must be incorporated into the definition of teaching. Isn't that what we focus on when we decide what doctor will treat us? Do we go to a doctor solely because they went to Harvard, have a nice clean office, or have been practicing for 20 years? Or do we choose a doctor because they have a record of healing and curing the presenting ailment? Do we focus on outcomes? Yes. It's not surprising that teacher unions and educational leaders are critical of the current high-stakes snapshots of NCLB student achievement and other state accountability measures. It isn't fair to link teacher appraisals and effectiveness to these systems, since these types of accountability models are strongly correlated with the socioeconomic status of students' families. As a result, there's a disproportionate number of failing schools in urban and rural environments. However, an accountability model that focuses on learning or growth is both fair and equitable. Now that the value-added model movement is here, concerns regarding the predictive validity include alignment to the curriculum, attribution to single teacher, and demographic variance in the classrooms. Unions are not prone to accepting that there's a great variance regarding the effectiveness of teachers. This is evidenced by the long-standing tradition of tying